massive mall with many, many stories of stores of all sorts of things. Here's like a store of all LEDs, which is really interesting. Some of them are massive, if you see on the wall. But then, in particular, an EVSE store, just a whole store for EVSEs. And you could, I mean, so all along the wall, all these different types of EVSEs. And since, another thing, since the 70s, I guess, when our government and China's government worked out that they would be manufacturing stuff and we'd have a trade agreement with them and everything, China has really become the industrial builder of the world. And so they make all this stuff. So here in this EVSE store, you can see too, like, you can basically build your EVSE, choose what color the handle is and what style and stuff. Like, it was really impressive. And then Shell Recharge. You saw stickers. This parking lot, it's too bad it's kind of light here, but like, it's a huge parking lot, and almost every single stall had a level 2 EVSE. That was really impressive too. And these were the Shell Recharge ones, so they also had in English and Chinese. Here's that plug you can see as well. And then Huawei has integrated their technology into multiple different brands of Chinese EV, and they have some pretty impressive technology that they put in the cars as well. So this was in a Huawei store. It was very similar looking to like an Apple store, only they had Huawei phones and different things, as well as some of the EVs that Huawei's technology is in. So they have these fancy headlights which can actually project movies. I'll show a picture of that later. Some really wild stuff. And then this is inside it, lots of screens everywhere, very luxurious, very good fit and finish. Look at this massive screen that comes down out of the ceiling for the rear occupants. And then there's a projector that projects stuff on so the kids can watch TV or YouTube, or I guess probably not YouTube in China, but TikTok, the Chinese version. And yeah, really cushy, posh, good stuff. Pop-out door handles like so many EVs over here have. But yeah, he said very good attention to detail, and the fit and finish and everything was good. He also noted, unlike a lot of our EVs here, he said many of the ones he saw there that were the new EVs, and I think all the ones in the Huawei store, had like LiDAR or the more fancy stuff like you'd see on a Waymo or something here coming out of the roof. So they probably have pretty decent self-driving capabilities. This one, really cool. Look, that's the rear view mirror on the front door. So it's just a camera. That way it's more aerodynamic. And I remember here years ago, Tesla was talking about wanting to do that, but we have some federal regulation that requires certain specific things, and actual mirrors are one of them apparently. So that was kind of cool. Another one here with a big pop-down screen out of the ceiling. And then the headlights are coming up here. Here's just some of the Huawei phones and stuff. But yeah, so like on this model is one that has the projection headlights. And so here is a little ad showing it. So it can actually project movies or stuff from, I don't know what it's fed from, if it's the car's onboard computer, if you can connect your iPhone up to it, but it can project things out. So actually, if we had one for SIVA, we could use it at our meeting in the parking garage to project the show. And the details are, it can go, let's see, up to a 100-inch image, so pretty good size. But yeah, so really nice EVs. There again, the self-driving type stuff looked very similar to Model 3 in the glass, but with the addition of what I presume to be like the LiDAR stuff above. And then here's a little automated electric robotic street sweeper just going around the city cleaning. A double-decker electric trolley bus. Well, actually, I guess trolley because it's on rails.
That's a Hong Kong trolley.
A double-decker trolley. Oh, that might be a Hong Kong trolley because he flew out of Hong Kong. So, and then he took the maglev, or actually this was a different electric train, and he said he was able to place an order with an app through Kentucky Fried Chicken, and it figured out which Kentucky Fried Chicken would be near where the train would be coming, and then they brought it and delivered it to his seat on the train. But all he had to do was do it through the app. So that was pretty interesting. And then there was a maglev that he rode as well, which is really fast, and I always thought maglevs are cool because they are electric vehicles that hover, and they use generally a linear induction motor. So if you took an electric motor and unwrapped the stator basically and made it flat and then just extended it really long, you make a linear induction motor, and that propels the maglev along. And yeah, it had a clock and was up to 300 kilometers per hour.
Is it full on wheels?
No, no wheels. I mean, I think there's some wheels for when it stops or if it lowers down, it has wheels. But no, it's less friction than a monorail because it magnetically levitates above, and since it's an induction motor, it doesn't require physical contact either to propel it. So it's all magnetically levitating on a cushion of air. Very, very nice feeling. So yeah, that was the trip that my brother had. Pretty exciting stuff. And then, Jay, did you want to tell us a little bit about Revolve? We were here before when it was Eco Auto Northwest. Now they've changed the name, and our very own Jay is working here, which is pretty awesome.
You may recall here at our December meeting, I asked them, next time I need a large drive unit for a Tesla rebuilt, are you my place? And they said, maybe someday. We're trying to improve our service capabilities. So in April, I did their first large drive unit rebuild for them. And now we're off to the races. Got 2 more on the bench right now. Our bread and butter is Model 3 and Model Y suspension repairs, because if it's squeaking or clicking, we can fix it. The Eco Auto brand was a licensing agreement that became a pushy, you should be our franchisee agreement, and they decided to cut ties and rebrand, hence Revolve Motors. And whose red Model 3 is out there with the lights on? Okay, good.
I don't know why it stays on. Maybe you can tell me later.
Okay. But again, just all brands and all EV service here. I've been extremely busy because right before the last SEVA meeting, we had my son's first orientation activity at WSU. My daughter goes to UW. And 60 miles outside of Pullman, I was just starting to doze off as my wife said, Jay, which is usually a good thing. But then a deer tried to come through the windshield, and 4 airbags went off. Wow. And if Matcha had been insured, I'm sure it would have been totaled, but I only carry liability. So I'm currently in the process of rebuilding that absolute unicorn, pristine, perfect 2013 Model S in Sequoia green metallic with the camel hair interior. Yeah. But thanks to SEVA Connections, the accident was on Saturday night, and by Monday afternoon, I had that white Model S out there provided as a parts car. That is a former Tesla Road Ranger vehicle whose owner fits the SEVA profile. What more can I say? Has never come to a meeting, but he had bought it just for the battery. He wanted to have his very own Powerwall, so I got the rest of the car, and it's now providing the 4 airbags and the nose cone and the truck, the hood, and everything except for the windshield. Can't reuse the windshield very easily.
Awesome.
And I thought I had hit the jackpot when its drive unit tested and seemed to be good according to the trouble codes, but then I pulled the high voltage connections, tested it with a Megger, no, isolation failure, which is the other big elephant, 800-pound gorilla in the room. Anytime you're talking about a Model S, a Mercedes B-Class, a Toyota RAV4, the large rear drive unit, which is a front drive in the RAV and the Mercedes. If they haven't yet, they will fail due to moisture intrusion through the main shaft seal. And I won't say conventional wisdom, the emerging approach to deal with that has been the coolant delete. I had 2 of them done by Alex at Wattworks in Portland before he decamped to North Carolina last month. The second one on Midnight Star, which was another SEVA acquired 2013 salvage title car with unlimited lifetime supercharging. Alex did the rebuild. He got isolation errors. He took it out, went through it, reinstalled it, still had isolation errors, threw up his hands, sourced a third-party rebuild from Zapata Tesla Parts in Rancho Cordova, California, installed that, still had isolation errors, and realized it was the battery coolant heater. I just happened to have one in my Dodge Dakota pickup conversion, so I rushed that down to Alex, and it passed spec, and I went through a long saga paying $1,500 bail money to Tesla to get it re-enabled for supercharging, because after 10 p.m. on a Friday night, they decided to disallow my supercharging very far from home, and I did 30 miles of regen on a rope in order to gain enough charge to get home. Thank you, Elon. And that car performed beautifully. 3 weeks ago, I did a private job for a client far north BC on the Sunshine Coast in Madeira, Point Madeira, to rebuild an iMeet battery. We did a very unconventional repair. We replaced 8 of the 80 modules with different chemistry, different capacity cells, and so far all the predictions are holding that the BMS is compensating, and those 93 amp hour cells that are NCM will just operate in their sweet spot, barely half charged, while the remaining 50 amp hour cells will continue to charge up to 4.1 and be happy. So that so far is a successful experiment. But I had the car loaded heavy down with lots of tools, jack stands, jacks, etc., and booking it back. Great drive all the way home, and that evening it failed with isolation errors. And those who want to see that drive unit is apart after not even 2,000 miles post coolant delete, the stator is cooked. When I opened it up, the brand new bearings had little Vaseline Vesuviuses coming out of them where the grease just got cooked out of the bearings. The resin on the stator is blackened and starting to flake apart. And I am now drinking the Kool-Aid from EV Clinic in Croatia, who says, "Thou must preserve coolant to the rotor. The coolant sensor is in the stator. It can't tell. The car thinks it's happy even when it's overheating the rotor." So their solution is a graphite-based advanced seal and very precise machining of the tail shaft of the rotor, which has been chewing on rubber for 13 years or so, and is pitted and not perfectly round, so it just chews up the next seal in short order if you do a conventional Tesla style rebuild. And sure enough, in this white parts car, it's an R3. Tesla had already rebuilt that unit 3 times, and still it leaked and failed again. So,
did you talk to Alex and see what his opinion was?
Alex is currently trying to get a warranty out of Zapata Tesla Parts in Rancho Cordova, who currently sells such rebuilds for $4,000 online, but normally offers only a 30-day warranty, which is barely enough time to get the thing installed, much less put any miles on it. So we shall see.
That's big.
Yeah.
Model S.
So he didn't open the drive unit, or did he when he did the rebuild, or was it them that did the rebuild?
From Zapata, it comes with tamper-proof seals on the joints, so I'm sure Alex did not open it up. And of course, after it failed, I opened it up and sent lots of pictures, and I believe they rebuilt a unit that already had coolant inside it.
That's what's going to be.
As I showed a few of you before the meeting, and will be happy to after, when I opened it up, there were little blue crystals where the coolant had been cooked off, and perfectly clear condensate in the higher portions of the drive unit that definitely weren't water. It tasted kind of icky. not sweet. And yeah, that drive unit definitely got cooked, and I was cooking, but it was a performance large drive unit, and it was only a 1 supercharged trip. So from BC to here should not be enough to cook a drive unit.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not faster driving, but I would think so.
Yeah.
So you mean the
And
coolant's
not
there for a
cold.
reason?
The coolant's there for a reason, yes. So it might should stay where the designers intended, just needs to be sealed in better. So I'm gonna try to do my next rebuild with the EV Clinic upgraded seal set and a weep hole at the tail shaft to drip out the coolant and keep it from filling the void in the motor shell and then advancing through the gearbox and into the inverter. Yes, sir.
Would it be possible to pressurize the motor
Exactly.
interior with something
I
like
second that
air
motion.
to keep it cool?
Okay,
Positive pressure, the.
Anybody into paintball? Okay. I need to attach a paintball gun
Yeah.
to and just before every drive, give one
Yep, yep.
and put a little bit of CO2 into there.
Well, or what about the original quick charge power design, or the more expensive one? I don't know if it was the original, but they don't seem to really sell it anymore. Last I heard, but
That was the
Alex said he
second
had a
rebuild
few.
I did here, but it was only the third one that Alex had ever done.
no, I mean, was it the quick charge power one with the oil? Because they made a version that preserved cooling that then used a non-conductive oil.
Yeah, I haven't seen that version. I did a quick charge power rebuild that had the storm drain in the inverter and the weep hole, but it failed due to that milling sound, which was the intermediate gear bearing, and I've got over 16,000 likes on TikTok with that. And
Famous.
that customer is quite happy, but it had the coolant delete just with the fancy red anodized end cover, and it didn't show the signs of overheating that my unit did.
So, yeah, you could check into our. I don't know what's up with. I'm blanking on his name. Quick
Alex?
charge power guy. No. The original guy that started quick charge.
Tony.
Tony. Yeah.
Tony sold the
Williams.
company.
Oh, he did. Okay.
Yeah,
So,
and Alex didn't get along with the new owners. That's why he
Ah,
spun off into Wattworks.
Well, you could try contacting the new owners or something and see whether they still offer that kit for sale, and it might be something worth trying. Because there's the pressure idea that you brought up. Another one is used like Dexron automatic transmission fluid. That's what the motor in the 54 GMC uses to cool it, because it's non-conductive. And so then if it leaks, who cares? Because it won't short anything out. But you could preserve cooling.
That's got to be better than no cooling at all.
Yeah. But because it's different, you don't want to send that through the battery pack and everything else. So you have to make a different loop that just goes through the rotor with that. And that's what Quick Charge Power did with one of their more expensive kits. I know last I talked with Alex, he has a few of them because I was asking him about them, but
He didn't volunteer.
I'm not sure if they're still made or not, or I haven't heard personal experience with people who've used them, but that's another interesting.
Yeah. And if you're following Alex of Wattworks now that he's in North Carolina, his very first project that he posted was an iMeave farm truck, and he just basically cut the roof and rear hatch out of an iMeave, and he gave me 2 shout outs in that video for the Baja Meave
Oh,
that my wife actually commutes in every day, the lifted iMeave with mud towers on the back, because she's a veterinarian and she has to deal with a lot of bullshit.
Solid.
No, I've never seen pictures of that.
All right, I'll have to do send them out to the list. It's,
Well, and maybe bring it to the Greenwood Car Show.
That would be hilarious.
the last touch is a tow bar mount, so it can do regen. I haven't rebuilt that battery pack yet, but she has a 5 mount kit.
Hey, Jake,
Yo.
maybe say a little bit about what Revolve is doing
Oh.
with events now?
With
Because they're
events,
hosting
community
things.
night
Yeah.
with the Women of EVs next Thursday night.
Well, Women of EVs is this Thursday night.
This Thursday, I
In
don't
2
know why I'm not
days.
allowed.
And next week is, on the 21st is community night with wine, so. It's like,
Yes.
anybody come on down and just mix some, and enjoy some wine and, no test drives.
No test drives.
You're drinking wine.
Yeah.
But also, if you have friends, like we talked about now with the gas prices being high and stuff, this is a good place to recommend people come to get an EV because they'll find you any EV that you want, and it's knowledgeable people that know electric vehicles.
Yeah, we were on Como News 2 weeks ago in the morning. Gas prices got you down. Used EVs are flying off the lot. One local dealer tells us all about it at 5. And they're still managing to source them at a reasonable price, so it's not an absolute feeding frenzy. You can still get them, and on the service side, the inhuman experience across the street at Tesla has people receive their estimate and then they just drive over here and do the job.
Nice.
Yeah.
What a great location.
Sometimes for
Yeah.
half the price, I mean, seriously.
Yeah, suspension rebuilds, large drive unit rebuilds. I'm doing a Nissan Leaf battery refit right now, not intending to offer Leaf battery rebuilds, but this was an unlucky auction purchase, and I can show you the innards of a 30 kilowatt hour Leaf pack out there if you like.
So after we end the other presentation here, are you open to show people around in the shop?
Very much want to, and
Let's do it.
it's been so long, but shout out to Ryan, who did over 600 miles of towing with his Cybertruck to help me retrieve my smashed Matcha from Dayton, Washington. Even farther than Pullman, because I made a deal with the AAA driver. I said, we're way out of my AAA tow range, so why don't you book it as a 100-mile tow and just go to your home garage and we'll call it good if you store it for up to a week. And that was a nice deal. And you should have seen the grimace on this red-bearded Viking's face as he stood in front of the tow yard and glared at that Cybertruck pulling in with the U-Haul trailer. But then when the four-wheel steering and cameras perfectly snake that trailer to the back corner of the lot.
That thing in 90 degrees.
Yeah.
Lined up perfect first shot. That was good.
Does the
That computer
Cybertruck have
boy knows how to
towing
drive.
assist?
What?
Or does the Cybertruck have towing backup assist?
It's got the rear camera.
I mean, well, because like the Lightning, have you ever tried towing with your Lightning?
Yeah, I use it all the time. I got the trailer.
Have you used the backup assist, or does your Lightning have that? It's an interesting feature that Ford has. I have not. I've seen videos of people use it, but I just do it the old fashioned.
Well, it depends. It depends, right? If people say, "Why you have a nice driving skill?" Yes, that's my skill. So
But it was amazing with the Cybertruck towing that heavy trailer with the Model S on it. You were only 28% less efficient on the way back than the way out unloaded.
Yeah, like the stats were kind of like all off the chart because I had a trailer profile that I was trying to like encourage it to maximize regen at the track day.
Yeah.
And they set up a trailer that's like 12,000 pounds, 1 foot by 1 foot by 1 foot.
Cubic
Doesn't use the
depleted
weight,
uranium.
But it definitely uses the dimensions. The way out with a 1 foot by 1 foot by 1 foot trailer, it was like, this thing, you go 500 miles, man. It was like way off spec. Pulling the empty trailer. On the way back, we picked White Zombie profile. And then it was pretty close to the spot on. Yeah.
By the way, I met a Model Y driver at a supercharger who was towing a trailer, and he told me something that I wasn't aware of. Maybe some of you have them or have threes. Actually, I don't know if it worked with a 3, but he said now with the Model Y in tow mode, it specifically, the navigation knows he's towing a trailer, and so it routes him through pull-through superchargers. That's fantastic. And more superchargers are pull-through. I happened to come across one that I didn't know about that just opened a few weeks ago in Woodinville at the Target. And it has a bunch of pull-throughs and actually 16 superchargers, so it's a big location anyway, and a bunch of them are pull-throughs. So, yay Tesla. Well, thank you, Jay.
Thank you all. Please hang around for the tour afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a great location. Eco Auto needs to put up some like suspension rebuild.
Revolve.
99.
Eco Auto is dead. Long live Revolve
Yeah.
Motors.
Revolve Motors. Tesla suspension rebuild. Look at them across the street.
It's a political dance with their former employees across the street who are now managers across the street, and we're doing everything but putting up a sign that says Tesla.
Cool. Well, so the other big news that you probably saw, or if you haven't, I'm going to tell you all about it. It's pretty fantastic. Is the saga that has been trying to go faster and faster with electric vehicles now. Ford has really done it with this Mustang Cobra Jet 2200, and that stands for 2200 horsepower. And I personally seen it make that on the dynamometer at the rear wheel. So it is legit, and that is why we get the numbers that it is getting. And so our best, an interesting thing I'll show you in some other pictures of actual time, but our highest top speed was 222 miles per hour in the quarter mile. So just think about that. The car is at a standstill at the beginning, and then in 1/4 of a mile, it's at 222 miles per hour. It is just absolutely insane.
It's all-wheel drive or rear-wheel?
It's rear-wheel drive. Yep. But it has 2 motors. They call them 6-phase motors. They look awful lot to me like 2 dual stacks. So I don't know. It's marketing. But anyway, the motors and inverters are made by Helix, and which I believe is out of the UK. And they're extremely small. I'll show you pictures under the hood. Extremely small and power dense, and carbon fiber casing, so very lightweight. Really impressive motors. One of a kind, basically built for this particular project. Although Helix makes other motors, which some of you got from the MLE auction, or actually, yeah, maybe some got from the auction, but also the Christmas party when we had it there. Anyway. This was one of our other fast times, but basically as the weekend went on, we kept breaking and setting a new record as the car ran. And it was built here in Seattle with McHugh Lane Electric Vehicles. Pat was hoping to be able to make it tonight, but he's moving to South Carolina rather, and just had too much going on with loading vehicles and stuff to get going. But anyway, yeah, for those that don't know, it kind of, you could say, started off with John Wayland and Roderick Wild with the White Zombie and the Maniac Mazda inspired me in college to build a dual motor Fiero and race that and make a really fast drag racing Fiero with Ron. And then we made a BMW car for, well, Charlie, I made a class where we teach electric vehicle conversions, and Charlie and Corey took that and we converted their BMW Z3, and Pat McHugh was in that class, and then they wanted to make a BMW conversion for the high school. And then after that, they got a big grant to make a car, and they wanted to do a race car, and they wanted to do one like my Fiero. I was like, yeah, except no, you don't, because it uses DC motors and you burn them up. And with the budget that you got for this grant, this could be the first AC drag racer. But in order to get the power, we had to go up to 800 volts. And so that was like the first 800 volt car was the shock and awe. It went in the 8th in the quarter mile, which was pretty shock and awing. And ever since then, it's been a journey of going faster and quicker and faster and faster, ending up with this. So we had the after shock and awe, the current technology dragster with Steve Huff, and shooting for 200 miles per hour in the quarter mile, but with a little dragster, and that was very challenging. And then the Camaro, the E-Copo Camaro for the 50th anniversary with Chevrolet Performance. We built the E-Copo Camaro, which ran in the 9s as a Camaro with dual motors. Where the wheelie bars are, we paint orange paint on the wheelie bar wheels. And so then the chassis guys, when it launches and goes down the track, and you can see in one of the other videos I saw, you can see where it touches and which side touches. Like then you can see, because the track is all black, you see these little orange marks, and you can see like kind of what it was doing as it went off. So then they can make little adjustments. Because again, you're trying to make it go as if everything is perfect world. Basically, the front tires just barely lift off the track. All the weight is transferred to the rear. All of the power that you can make is able to be put down without spinning the wheels, which is also a problem. And so, and if all that goes well, and then the car just goes in a perfectly straight line, then you're going to get your fastest time. So all the stars have to align. Any other questions? All right, well, that's our meeting. I think next month we will be back in our U Village parking garage for the summer months now. It's warmer out, so we'll have our show and presentation there. Now, Jay, want to take us on a little tour of this awesome place?
Yeah, everybody's welcome to tag along. Please don't touch any coppery bits or put anything in your pocket.
Want the chair to lick the orange table? Don't lick the orange tables, they're
I can
orange
help.
flavored.
Yeah, do we want the chair help?
Yeah, these chairs need to go back around that round